Hi, I'm Beth Foster, and I'm currently the 2020-2021 president of the First Special Service Force Association. And my association with the First Special Service Force is through the pipes and drums of the Black Devils. But we weren't always the pipes and drums of the Black Devils. We were the Shining Thistle Pipe Band, and Bill Boone contacted me as the pipe major of the Shining Thistle, contacted me in 2002 for the Helena reunion to see if we could pipe the head table into the banquet and also perform at the memorial that morning out at Memorial Park. It was my first exposure to the First Special Service Force. I had some inkling back in, I'd heard of the Devil's Brigade movie and such, but I had not ever really truly known who these incredible men were. And that was a real defining moment for me. It just made me want to know more. It was a very special moment. So I, whenever Bill would call to see if we could do something, it was, let's do this. And the next time that Bill really called us was in 2006. And we were still the Shining Thistle Pipe Band, which I helped start in 1998 when we moved to Helena. So we were just a little kilty band, just out for fun and for the joy of playing pipes and the culture. And 2006 was kind of a contentious year. It's the 60th reunion. Some of the veterans were kind of hinting that they might want to propose to disband the association. And then Bill called me in January of that year, kind of mentioning some of these things. And it popped in my head that we should have a tattoo. And he didn't know what a tattoo was. And so there was some education, and was that it wasn't a tattoo on your arm or your with ink. It was actually a performance. The Edinburgh tattoo is a good reference. It's a performance. It's a reenactment of battles or a moment in history. And so he was like, okay, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tattoo will begin in just a few short minutes.
From the beginning with the Queen City dancers to do the dances of the 1940s, and they dressed in the 1940s, their dresses and suits. Reenactors come from Iowa and do the patrols out in the fields at Fort Harrison. And that tattoo brought over 75 veterans and their families to Helena for their reunion. Just the reenactment and halo jumps and the cavalry performances. And we had the Edmonton Police Pipe Band from Edmonton. Their background and connection to the force was their pipe major had been in the First Special Service Force. So we brought them in, and the Shining Thistle was the U.S. Force, U.S. contingency, and we recreated that moment when they came together as one unit. We became one pipe band. So we kind of recreated that moment and did performances throughout the day. And then we also recreated the disbanding at Menton when the Canadian forces moved out. The Edmonton Police Pipe Band members pulled out a rank with the Canadian forces that were there, did a parade and a guide right and a salute to the veterans that were there. And then the U.S. forces and the pipe band moved out, and they covered the ribbons and all that again. It was quite the emotional performance. Many stories happened because of that moment. It triggered those, just seeing the mules and seeing the patrol triggered these memories and stories where all the members, all the veterans were telling stories throughout the evening and the next day. So I think we did what we set out to do, and as you know, the association did not disband. The following year in 2007, the reunion was in Canada, and I can't remember if it was where it was exactly, Nova Scotia, I think, and I didn't go. And there was a vote to make the Shining Thistle Pipe Band the official pipe band of the 1st Special Service Force. And then at the 2010 Helena reunion, it occurred to me, I wondered if they had a tartan. And Bill Woon said, no, the 1st Special Service Force didn't have a tartan. So we went about putting that together and creating the 1st Special Service Force Memorial Tartan. And in 2011, we unveiled it in Edmonton there and got to play with the Edmonton Pipe Band to unveil the tartan. And it's, we now have the entire pipe band, pipes and drums of the Black Devils, also happened at that same time. We changed our name. It didn't happen all at once, but it happened over a period of time as we found our niche and how best we could continue to tell their story. And I think that's the biggest thing that we do is we represent them when they themselves aren't able to. There's not maybe a veteran isn't able to be there at a reunion or at a memorial or something. So fortunately, over the years, we've been able to do incredible things that a little band from Helena who knew. We went to the 2012 Washington, D.C. reunion. We were allowed to march in the World War II memorial during the dedication of the wreaths and to the Anzio battle and the Italian campaign. And we were invited to the Canadian Embassy and performed and marched the head table in. That was quite an experience. And then we also performed at Arlington in the amphitheater for the memorial on Saturday morning. That to this day is one of our just awe moments that we couldn't believe we were there to honor these men who fought for our freedom and freedom of the oppressed. So 2012 was in Washington, D.C.
Piping, playing, going through a couple tunes, and then just go on up and get socialized and then play at 7.
We were asked if we wanted to go to Italy in 2014 on one of the tours. John Hart stopped us at breakfast and said, "Hey, do you think you can take the band what would you think about going to Italy and taking the band?" And my first reaction was, absolutely, we can go to Italy, we can do anything.
And over the last several years, as we've begun to lose more and more of the original veterans, we've come to realize that part of what our mission or goal is that we get to tell their story everywhere we go. And part of that, telling their story, is going to be our trip to Italy.
To play in the areas where they fought and died and made these kind of sacrifices, I don't have the words for it. It's overwhelming.
So there are going to be some performances that are going to be very moving and very sacred. So we've just been really honored to be a part of it. I think at this point we're just willing to, whatever happens, whatever comes, we'll be there for them.
And we were in our kilts every day. Long days on the bus. And we never knew what we were really going to do. Gianni Blasi had a plan, and it could change on a dime, and we were ready. If he called and said, "Okay, pipe band, you've got a parade, we're gonna go to this next town," like, okay, we just circle up, get our pipes ready, get the drums ready. We had, just wonderful people on the trip. I think there were 2 buses that year, and everybody helped us haul all of our gear over. And in Venefro, this enormous parade, the entire town came out, and everyone was helping us haul drum cases and get us where we needed to go. And cheering and the camaraderie of meeting the other bands there. The city band, I think, was the group, and we couldn't speak the languages, but we understood the language of the music, and showing our instruments off and showing that we were together, friends and family. So many other moments in our tenure, and all the children coming out from school this play and getting to show them the pipes and the drums and they're looking at our kilts and our sporums, and not being able to speak so much the language, but just the fact that we were there, and being able to honor our veterans that had been killed in those towns. The one thing that struck me so incredibly was that on every place we went where there was a plaque honoring the men that had been killed in action, there were always flowers. And someone said that there were flowers usually every day. So that meant a lot. The connection that these people had to the force. We were invited to play at Mituno of the American War Cemetery at Anzio for the Memorial Day services there. We played with the other bands. There was a Navy band and the local band, and we were able to be a part of that incredible moment on sacred ground to honor our fallen Americans. And then we also piped at the Anzio Beachhead Cemetery, most beautiful cemetery I've ever seen in my life. Every headstone had flowers. There are flowers everywhere. And the care and love that they put into that was absolutely tell. They wanted to give back somehow for the sacrifices. We also played at the Commonwealth Cemetery and Casino, which is where all the Canadians are turned. And we had a wonderful moment where we turned around after getting back to the hotel after a very long, hot day and a parade, turned around and went back to the Commonwealth Cemetery to play Amazing Grace. And still picture Les Owen in the back of a truck with his tripod, because the way we were facing, the rest of the band couldn't see him. So he became the pipe major of the moment. Mark and I went up on La Defensa. Well, everybody walked up La Defensa. John Hart and his daughter, they had climbed up the route that their special service force had taken. And Mark and I were up on the top, very top rocks, waiting for those guys to pop over the hill down below and start playing. We have to play for them. That moment of play and honor all those men that gave their lives. We piped up on Hill 720 for a memorial. What struck me was, and also on La Defensa, is how many rocks there were. How you couldn't walk without walking on a rock, and boulders, and how treacherous it was. I can't even, kind of gives you some sense of what it was like at that time during the battles. One of the other wonderful things we got to do was to play with the Frosinone concert. There was many awkward moments, many embarrassing moments, because we didn't have an interpreter with us.
We finally found someone that speaks English. No one knows what's going on. And we're also supposed to be playing with a band with no rehearsal. We're going to play Amazing Grace. So we're going to wing it.
We didn't quite understand what they were asking of us, and they didn't quite know what to do with us, with the bagpipes and the drums. And I think there was a moment when we actually just started playing when we weren't really supposed to. She was in the middle of introducing us. but in the end, it was a fabulous night. Played Amazing Grace with the band, with practically no rehearsing. We just came together and played with the band, not knowing their language. They didn't know ours. We also visited Cabbage Castle and an opportunity to march across the bridge and get a great picture of the entire group that was there, and figure out that the cabbage is actually like these giant aloe plants, which in perspective, the men from United States or Canada had never seen anything like that. So, it was easy to just say, they look like cabbages. So it was fun to hear kind of why that this little nickname came to be. So after Italy, the trip continued to France. I was unable to, many of the pipe band was not able to go, but fortunately Eric Fendler and Mark Earnhardt, pipe sergeant, took the reins and went to France and followed the tour all the way up and piped many times at celebrations honoring Eugene and Cy at many of the little towns that they liberated in France. I think they got quite a few hugs.
I say thank you for liberate pain. You are an hero and our angel. And thank you so much. It was so emotional for us to see you.
Thank you.
They were not disappointed. We experienced, this incredible opportunity to hear Cy Mermelstein and Jean Gutierrez look back and remember, probably like it was yesterday, when they were there with their friends. Many who were not there did not make it home, and or some that did and had since passed. But he was able to remember them and bring up those memories, and that's what it was. It was remembering the battlefields. It was remembering those people. It was remembering the moments that, the good moments. Many bad moments that they don't talk about, but they remembered the good ones, and that's what they shared with us, just to give us a hint somehow of what it was like. So 2015 was the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda in Washington, D.C. In February, early first part of February 2015, George Foster, my husband, Mark Earnhardt, and I were honored to go back to Washington, D.C. So we were able to pipe the veterans up and introduce the 1st Special Service Force just prior to the gold medal ceremony, when all the veterans were presented on stage with their had assistants to bring them up and have their photos taken, and to commemorate that moment when they were received their replica of the Congressional Gold Medal. Prior to the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony at the U.S. Capitol, we performed with the U.S. Army Band, Nation's Own, an original march composed by Sergeant Major Paul Murtha, called Frederick's Black Devils. And they performed it. We also wrote a part for the pipes toward the very last end of the tune. So we were able to be a part of that unveiling of the 1st Special Service Force's official march. So the U.S. Army Band also performed that in the Capitol Rotunda for the actual ceremony of the presentation of the Congressional Gold Medal. So it was quite a momentous day for everyone. It was a long journey to get to that point, to finally have that approval and the mint of that beautiful medal, the First Special Service Force. You know, looking back, it's been quite an incredible journey. We've been all over the world, and to be the official pipe band of the First Special Service Force is probably one of the greatest honors. You know, I'm finishing off my presidency this year, president of an incredible organization that works very, very hard for the veterans and tries to honor them in every decision that's made. And as well as looking toward the future, what's going to happen when those gentlemen are all gone, and how we can continue to honor them the best we can. And I think through the pipe band, we will always be able to tell their story, no matter where we go. Just art and music, and our logo that's what we're looking for in the future, is to be able to always remember these men. So it's been quite a journey, and it's been honoring and humbling, and I look forward to more performances and future reunions.